Okay, so we get a call from Brandon and RT telling us that we're gonna go via fixed wing for a complex respiratory that needs possibly the jet, ventilator, and possibly nitric. So while Mod RT is gathering all of their equipment, the survival flight nurses need to start preparing the fixed wing Isolette. So first thing we're gonna do is install the Knox box. So the Knox box mounts to the white bar across here. It is taped to show you where optimal placing is to allow you to get through the door. You can then go ahead and hook up your Knox exactly the same as you would. You're going to verify that you have 3 connectors. One will be for your Knox box, one will be for your Hamilton, and one will be for the jet ventilator. Everything will be powered through the Isolette, and you will only have one oxygen cord to connect to the wall. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to need to install syringe pumps. We cannot use the brackets for the syringe pumps because those brackets will be used for the ventilators. So this is the bar that is on the LCB rotor wing Isolette. You're going to just take the entire bar with syringe pumps on it and install it. It is labeled with which end goes where. You want the handle to be over the Knox box so that nothing interferes with the jet ventilator on this end. Then we are going to verify that we have 2 oxygen tanks. We're going to verify we have a full air tank, and we're going to verify that we have our nitric. Our nitric should be all set up and have the holes already ready to connect to your Knox box when you install that. The tank is secured in place.
So for the Mod RTs, one of your responsibilities will be not only to bring the jet ventilator and all the supplies for the jet ventilator, you will need to remove the bracket from the brand new ground Isolette and bring this bracket with you to be used on the fixed wing Isolette. So when we arrive, this is how survival flight will have the Hamilton configured, and it'll be mounted the way it's supposed to be mounted in the right position. We will arrive with our jet ventilator bracket, and again, there are lines that show you how this is to be configured. So it'll go this way because the jet face of the jet ventilator is going to be facing this way. So you'll insert it into the mount. It snaps in. Make sure you're locked. Okay? You're going to want to lower the sled as low as it goes, because now you'll take the jet ventilator. You can leave the plug in or you can remove the plug if you want, if it's easier. And it should just lift up. Push it back. And you're locked. So your plug is in. You'll have to attach your high pressure oxygen line in the back, and then you can install your circuit and go from there.
You may have to turn it a little bit more flush to start with to allow you to slide the Hamilton in, and then we can lock it back in place.
Also for putting your cord in. Once you get the cord in, you can turn it and lock it back in place.
So this is probably a 2-man job. And then turn both so that they're locked into position. There is a line that shows you the best position for this so that it locks in place. So both of those are locked into position. Now we can plug all of our oxygen hoses directly into our 3 plugs that are at the end here. So we're going to bring our Hamilton hose, our jet hose, and the Knox box hose connected in here. Optimally, you can run them inside of the cover so that there's nothing to catch on when you're sliding in and out of the fixed wing.
Here's your AC line cord plugged into the outlet. And again, you may have to just adjust this slightly to get the plug in. And then make sure it's locked again securely. You should be good to go. Remember, you need to be plugged into AC to get the jet to turn on. Once the jet is turned on, you can disconnect from AC and the battery will take over.
When you are running off tanks, you need to have both the oxygen and the air connected, even though you're not using the air, otherwise the blender will make that obnoxious noise. So remember to plug both in just to give you that equal pressure and stop the noise on that. Once you get back to the aircraft, then you can just plug the one cord into the aircraft and every ventilator device is powered through the one cord.
I'm not going to set it up entirely, but once you have the equipment configured and securely fastened, you are able to reach in here. You have plenty of room to put your circuit on. If you have the nitric running through the jet, you have plenty of room to get your nitric injector module inside of that area there. And you have plenty of room and circuit length to make it into the Isolette. The other thing too we will be doing with this configuration, we are going to be bringing an MRI Hamilton circuit with us to give us that additional length of circuit that will make it easier to get around the Isolette. Survival Flight will have some here, but we will also be bringing one just in case, and also to switch out from the one that they set up on the Hamilton for us.
So while we're waiting for RT to arrive, one of the things Survival Flight can do is switch out the exhalation valve, calibrate the vent circuit, and install the MRI circuit, so that that's one less thing we have to calibrate once they get here with everything else. A couple more features about the Isolette that is new. The heater does have a pulse ox capability. So if you wanted to do pre and post ductal continuous pulse oximetry, there is an extra cable tucked into the back of the Isolette. It plugs in right here. So if you wanted to do, or if you had a pulse ox failure, you have another option to do that. And the instructions for how to turn it on are on the card. Your temperature, patient temperature will show up as your T1 on your Zoll, and you do have defibrillator capabilities built into this monitor, so you do not need to take an extra transport monitor, and the cord is down there. The defibrillation cord is here, and defibrillation patches have been added to the Brandon bag. Remember that the jet ventilator in this configuration can only deliver 100% oxygen. There is no blending capabilities. So whatever system we're using is going to be 100% through the jet, which is probably what is necessary given this patient population. If we were to also need the Ticotherm, the recommendation would be that you leave the Ticotherm in the airplane. We bring also the Hill Arrow mount from the ground Isolette at Brandon. That mount will fit into the mount that currently holds the Hamilton that's stored in the back of the aircraft. You can move that mount to the front loading system, or you can grab a spare mount off the shelf and mount the Ticotherm there on the front loading system in its bracket and plug it in as soon as you get back to the airplane.
The only thing I need to add is just for the RTs, once we arrive back at Brandon, Survival Flight usually does not accompany us with their fixed wing Isolette, so it will be our responsibility to strip the Isolette, clean it for them if you have the time to clean it and prep it for them. This will stay on the Isolette. You may have to move the brackets around. We're going to remove the bracket for the jet ventilator, take our jet ventilator off, and make sure the tanks are off, make sure the nitric tank has been turned off if we're using it, and send everything back the way we found it back to the LCB.